What's up, everybody? I'm back to talk about season 5, episode 5 of The Expanse, entitled Down and Out. So, a little bit, I know I talked about this on not the last episode, but the one before that, where I talked about seasons 1 through 4. I mentioned that it'd been a kind of a long time for me to get into The Expanse. So, I started a couple years ago, but then I binged the rest of it leading into season 5. And because of that, um, season 5, episode 5 is my first time having to do the wait. So for those of you who might have been fans from the get-go, you've consistently had to deal with the week in, week out wait, the wait in between seasons. I heard on season 4 on Amazon, they just released it all at once, so you didn't have to deal with that. But maybe you binged it in a weekend, and then now you've had this colossally long wait for season 5. And I, on the other hand, binged the entirety of the series in probably about 2 weeks. And this is my first time having to sit and wait. So like the anticipation was building. I think episode 4 was kind of like The Expanse's Red Wedding. I'm not gonna go into the Red Wedding or this episode too deeply, for fear of spoilers, because there might be people who might want to watch and still be surprised. But this was episode 4 was a moment that changed the dynamic of the entire show. You got Earth, you got Marco attacking everyone, making a real claim for the Belters, to where it's like, okay, the Belters are running shit now, so if you want to fuck with us, think again. He's got Proto Molecule, Fred Johnson's dead, like complete game changer in this series, right? And we spent the whole season to this point with all of our Rocinante crew split up. So we need the crew to get back together at some point, but then we also need to see how Marco's attack is going to, what the fallout's going to look like. How's this going to impact various, the various storylines of the various character arcs, I think would actually be the best way to put it. The various character arcs for the Rocinante crew. So episode 5, we kind of sort of pick up where we left off. Prior to the opening theme, we have a scene with Drummer and her crew, the Drummer faction, essentially seeing what all has gone on and deciding to meet with Marco. So that's not really so much fallout from the previous episode, because in the previous episode we had I was about to call her Dominique. We had Naomi, essentially a prisoner but not a prisoner, on Marco's ship with her son. We had Amos left for, we don't know theoretically. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I didn't think Amos was dead, but theoretically, in theory, we have is Amos alive or not cliffhanger there. We had Holden. What was Holden doing? Oh, Holden had just been essentially robbed of the proto molecule, vis-a-vis Fred Johnson, and Fred's been killed. And then you have Alex had his nice little interesting situation over on Mars, and he reunited with Bobby. So once these attacks happen, we get to see how everything plays out. And I think this episode did a good job of, this is going to sound weird, simultaneously throttling the plot forward, but also keeping it a little stagnant. And what I mean by that is, we get to see the fallout from for each individual from the attacks. So we spend actually most of the episode with Amos trying to climb out of the basement of this prison. And basement is a term I'm using loosely. I think they said he was 9 stories down, but visiting Julie Mao's sister, Clarissa. He calls her Peaches. I think she was called, what was her name, Mabel or something in the previous season. But we get to see that. We get to see Naomi attempting to escape. I don't know if she planned. I don't even know if she actually planned to escape, but maybe she just planned. Maybe her plan. She hatched a half-cocked plan to kill Marco, but maybe that plan wasn't necessarily to escape or to change the tide of this war. I think it was more of just like, she wants to find an opportunity to get a message out to Holden. So we have her situation with him. We have Alex and Bobby chasing after some Martian thieves who we find out are essentially trading, selling, we don't know, Martian warships to Belters. And then we have, who did I forget? Amos, Alex. Oh, I didn't forget anybody. Did I cover Holden? Yeah. We get Holden. No, I didn't. Actually, we get Holden and Bull following the, what's the, I forgot the name of that ship. Bark something. Somebody's gonna leave a comment and slander me. Like, how the fuck do you forget the name of the ship? But we have Holden and Bull essentially following the ship that took the proto molecule and killed Fred Johnson. So we get a lot of advancement of the plot in that sense, but no one actually gains a lot of ground in this episode. So, like, for instance, we have Amos. His entire part of the episode is him climbing out of the lower levels of this prison. So it's like, yes, we know Amos is alive. We know he's making his way out of the prison, but the whole episode is spent with him escaping the prison. You have Naomi on Marco's ship the entire time. Naomi manages to get a message out to Holden, which ultimately saves him before he can get the Rocinante up and rolling. Apparently, there was a code that Naomi used when she was with Marco that they used to essentially sabotage ships' reactors, and then when they needed help, they go and rob them, essentially. Is my understanding anyway. And Marco essentially used that code to just explode these reactors altogether and kill people. And that's what ultimately prompted Naomi to leave. And that's also what Marco did to set up the Rocinante, which Naomi was able to give Holden a nice little heads up on. So lots of drama there, lots of conflict. Dominique Tipper does an excellent job of, and this is the second time I've seen her do something impressive with essentially body language. But, you know, we saw her body unable to handle the gravity on Ilis, I believe, or New Terra, whichever you wanted to call that planet. We saw her struggling to adapt as a belter on that planet. And we have her friend, I think his name's Sin. He brings that up. Like, you know, we can't go colonize these places because we can't live there. So we have to take what we need. So he makes a solid point. And side note, I think a lot of this plot line of the Belters versus the Earthers and the Martians has a whole lot of connections to things going on today. And I think they do a good job of making Marco's plight relatable to people. Like the same people who you have people who are like, oh, Thanos made a good point, or he just went about it wrong, or Killmonger and Black Panther, great point. He just went about it wrong. That's kind of how I feel about Marco. Has respectable ambitions given the way Belters have been treated throughout time. He's just going about it the wrong way. And even that could be considered debatable within that universe, because a lot of people will be like, okay, we've tried peaceful ways to, we've tried to find ways to make peace in the past and it hasn't worked out. So now it's time we take. And, you know, that's an understandable feeling to have when you've been persecuted for generations. And that's something that's very relatable to life today. So I found that very interesting. But circling it back around, we have Naomi. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to call her Dominique because I do want to continue to reference her acting ability. You know, she showed the not devastation, but she showed the difficulty she had lasting on Zero-G planet. And wait, Zero-G? Yeah. And then in this episode, she does a great job of showing how hungry she is. Marco mentions at some point, like, I've heard you haven't been eating. Here's some food. And there's a moment later, she doesn't eat, she leaves. And then I think in the next scene that we see her, she's walking in a way that could only be described as someone who is starving, you know, and is weak. And she's done a great job of body language acting as of late. So really happy to see that. She's doing a great job. Physically, emotionally showing the devastation of, and this time I do mean devastation, of not only being reunited with Marco, but being reunited with her son, seeing that she doesn't know shit about him and that he doesn't particularly fuck with her. But you can still tell that there's something in there. And I would not be surprised if by the end of this season, Philip joins up with the Rocinante crew, or at the very least does something to help them win. And then Holden, we spend the least amount of time with Holden, Alex, and Bobby. But good stuff there. We see Alex and Bobby try to escape. They're spying. They get caught. They try to run off. They get missiles shot at them. And essentially, Alex has to dump. It said core. To me, I interpreted that as essentially what you need to power this ship, the Razorback. He dumped it. The missile hit that, and now they're just floating off into space with probably no way to actually moving a way that they want to move, as opposed to just being subjected to whatever space wants wherever space wants to put them. And then yeah, I mentioned Holden. We see Holden and Bull go after that name of the ship that I can't remember that has Bark in the name or some shit. I don't fucking remember. But we see Holden and Bull go after that ship. And that's going to turn out to be actually, well, technically they don't even really get anywhere, but that's going to be probably how Alex and Bobby end up being saved at some point in the future. But really great stuff. I think the character that I forget his name that they gave him in the episode, but Amos called him Tiny. This guy that they had play Tiny, this prison inmate who's like massively jacked and appears to be like part cyborg or some shit. Actually, if you're a cyborg, you're part something already. But he is, so actually you would just say he appears to be a cyborg of some sort. But you know, they recruit him to do some we'll call it heavy lifting. And you could tell immediately from the first moment Amos calls this guy Tiny that they're going to have a fucking problem. And I'm watching the whole time like, I'm not really believing Amos can beat this guy in a one-on-one fight. But long story short, they get out. Tiny essentially stages a coup. And like the female prison guard that helped them escape, and they gave her a name that her name was some. Oh, her name was Rona. That's what made me laugh. Like, how the fuck dare you name a character Rona? But then again, if she's based on an actual book character, it's probably written long before coronavirus. But I found that funny that it was a character named Rona. But she gets disarmed. She actually grabs the gun of another dead officer, shoots Tiny in the stomach, and then Amos fucking does like a belly to back suplex and flips the guy into the elevator shaft. And what was so cool about it was, one, it was super fast, and then two, like his body bounces off the walls, I think like 2 or 3 times before you stop hearing sound. And I just thought that was really cool too. So another badass moment for Amos. But I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of Amos. Hopefully the crew will reunite within the next, man, I gotta say 1-2 episodes tops. I think that if they want to work toward something where the crew gathers together and has to have some big, you know, standoff with Marco, that needs to happen within the last 2 episodes. So I'd say the crew probably needs to get together no later than episode 8. So that gives us 6, 7, and 8 before that should be happening. Ideally, it should have. I think it would happen sooner, but based on where everyone's left off, I don't see that happening in the next episode. So hopefully the crew will reunite around episode 8, and then episodes 9 and 10, we can have them together going after Marco and trying to exact some revenge. All in all, really enjoying the show. I think this is the best season, actually. They're doing a lot of not creative stuff, but they're doing different stuff. You know, I like seeing these individual characters get their moments to shine. I'm liking the fact that they're all in different places. So, like, sometimes you get Tycho Station. Sometimes you get whatever the fuck the name of Marco's ship is. I keep forgetting. Sometimes you get, then you get Amos on Earth. You know, we had Amos in Baltimore earlier in the season, and we had Amos in this prison. Where are we going to find Amos going forward? And I like these pairings and these groupings. And the show's done this consistently, and it's a way that it reminds me of Game of Thrones, is that you get these people that are grouped up for episodes at a time, and then they reunite with other groups. They switch off. Maybe now you get a different pair of people running around. So it's like, you know, clearly we're going to have the Amos and, what's her name? Kamina? No, Kamina's drummer, right? Clarissa. Yes, I still had it up on the screen. You know, we're going to have the Amos and Clarissa show next week. We're going to have the Holden and Bull show. We're going to have more of Naomi on Marco's ship. And we're going to have more of the Amos and Alex and Bobby show. So I like that aspect too. It gives us a lot of opportunity to see the way different characters have evolved, see their background, learn a little bit more about them, but then also see different settings, different ships, different stations, all that kind of stuff. Whereas like at the beginning of the show, it was like all space, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but all space every episode for 6 seasons might not even be a problem. Like, it might be something that everybody is cool with, but I feel like it's like a cherry on top to get here's some plot, here's some character backstory, Here's a new setting. Here we're going to give you Baltimore. We're going to give you New York. We're going to give you a prison. We're going to give you the moon. You know, like all kinds of cool shit. So the show's firing on all cylinders at this point. I think this is the best season. Can't wait for episode 6. Can't wait for episode 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Looking forward to it. Really enjoyed this episode. And remember to rate, comment, share, subscribe, critique, all that good shit. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Remind me what the name of that fucking ship is. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.